It's time to tear up the hiring playbook on what the heck is happening in HR.
For our podcast disclaimer, please visit the episode description.
Thanks for coming back to What the Heck is Happening in HR. Today, we're going to talk about skills versus degrees and tearing up that hiring playbook. See, organizations are ditching degree requirements and focusing on what people can actually do, not where they went to school. And some of the stats are showing that 90% of organizations are now using some sort of skills-based hiring report, reducing the mishires. They've been hiring for education and not been able to have those people apply what they know to the job. 94% agree that skills-based hiring is more predictive of on-the-job success than resumes. Only a small share of organizations link workforce planning strategies to future skill needs. 12% of HR leaders do strategic workforce planning with at least a 3-year focus. That's it, 12%. What are you doing? HR, wake up. We've got to pay attention to what kind of workforce we need in the future. How can we partner with our community education systems? How can we do that? How can we do that with trade schools? How can we do that with the local unions? How do we do any of that if we don't even know who we're going to need? So what it means to look at skills rather than degrees means that we're evaluating candidates on skills and potential, not the degrees or not their in-position experience. So we really want to know, what have they done of the job you're hiring them for? Many companies are implementing upskilling programs to train employees on business critical skills. They're investing in internships and alternative pipelines like boot camps, military experience, volunteer work. They help employees lean into skills from other work. They understand how to translate what the employees know that would be applicable to where they are today. I can tell you, one of the things that I say over and again to my students, because I see it so often, is the need for critical thinking. I don't know what happened to it in the past decade, but being the detective, asking questions, not trying to answer the question right away, but rather understanding the full aspect of the question and coming up with the best answer for it. Now, that doesn't mean delaying. That doesn't mean creating a meeting to be able to talk about it. But it does mean being able to understand the context. And so many times we miss that. So the business case really for this new way of looking at our talent is it helps develop that talent scarcity. It expands our talent pool. It reduces hiring bias. Oh, well, let's hire them from my college. That's similar to me bias. It increases the diversity, the perspectives, the experience levels. It improves retention because people trained internally are more loyal. And it prepares the workforce for AI-driven skill shifts, and they're happening. I don't think college degrees are dead, but it's definitely been wounded. And good certificate programs, just like the ones we have at USF, I know that was a shameless plug, but we see what happens. It's almost become something expected in my classes because people get hired, people get promoted. Sometimes people get hired between the companies right within my classes because they've seen the kind of thinking and the kind of initiative people have. We also see how people can actually implement skills-based hiring with assessments and work samples and trial projects. You need to be careful, though. Make sure you are following employment law there. If you're not sure, talk with an HR professional or your employment lawyer. Opening doors for non-traditional candidates certainly happens when we don't just require a degree. And it also puts a little bit of a challenge in front of us because we're not sure what's potential, what's proven experience. Upskilling existing employees versus hiring for skills externally is a conversation that needs to be intentional. You need to say, wait a minute, are we really promoting from within? Or are we just going to post it and then wait for the shiny object to show up? Because, 3 years ago, she was late on that project and I've never forgiven her. That's what happens so many times, is that we will hire somebody from the outside and not try to help the person on the inside. Or they had a situation come up and no one's ever forgotten it. And they carry that baggage with them throughout their entire career. And not that anyone ever talks about it, it's just that nobody has ever forgotten it. They've never been forgiven for it, even. And so the grace that they're not being shown because of what happened is really hampering their career. And at some point, a mentor, a coach, maybe even a kind HR person will help them move on. Because if they are held back at the organization they're at, they're not going to be able to get to their complete potential, which is really what we want. Everyone should be able to perform at their own potential at a level that they feel good at, and that the company and the organization is improving because. So, yeah, we've torn up the hiring playbook. We're not saying, hey, it's just education and you must have this or you must have that. Sure, there's still some organizations requiring that, but not everybody. And so you need to come up with some better ways to expand that talent pool, because you need to get more critical thinking, more experience, more perspectives, all within your talent, within your firm. We also think you should probably subscribe to What the Heck is Happening in HR. We drop new episodes every single Monday on your favorite podcast platform.